All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the daily broadcast coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios. It's 100 degrees outside here in West Texas, but it's Arctic cool air here inside the studios. I wonder why. Oh, yeah, Arctic air. If your air is not Arctic, call the bear, callthebear.com. Save that on your phone. Hope you don't ever need them in emergency, but if you do, they'll get you taken care of. Brought to you in part by Golf USA, Stacey Nix and his crew, 67th in Indiana or 66th, depending on where you pull in. Great Red Raiders. They'll help you play better golf. If nothing else, just go and buy a new shirt so you look good, okay? And if you're heading up to northern New Mexico, you want to talk to my guy, Jeff Fagan. Fagan's Guided Fly Fishing, the official fly fishing guide of Raiderland, based out of Red River, New Mexico. Jeff Fagan will make you a fly fishing stud within hours. Actually, no, probably not. But you'll catch fish, and you'll learn a lot. Now, whether you're inexperienced or experienced, Jeff has all the water out there that he can put you on that'll, match your ability. He's not going to throw you out there on something you can't fish on. Nobody likes that. I hate that when guides do that. They're like so impressed to do this stuff, and then they put you on the water, you can't catch fish. You want to catch fish. Jeff Fagan is your man. Remember that. Also by Boot City, our official Western wear official Western wear supplier here in Raiderland. One in money, 7 mile outside the West Loop on 19th. In all communications, right now, everybody who's on Twitter, everybody who's on Facebook, everybody who's on YouTube, all you got to do is type in your questions, comments, get them in the deal, and they come to us. Thanks, United Supermarkets, great supporters of Texas Tech and West Texas, and we thank United for doing that. I stopped by on the way home. I got some Smithfield pork tenderloins, the pre-marinated kind. I got 2 different ones. So good and so affordable. Ridiculous. You can throw that in a crock pot or an air fryer and have supper tonight. And I have a feeling that may happen, right? Law Dog Sports has chimed in on Facebook. I usually don't go to the comments this early, but he says, so live here? Just notified on Twitter. Yeah, live here every day, 6:30 on the daily broadcast. Twitter Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all the channels. Subscribe so you don't miss anything, Law Dog. And I hope everything's going good in your neck of the woods up there with everything you're doing. All right, let's do it. Friday's most Texan thing you've done this week. What would that be? We asked you today. We did this yesterday, I believe, on the website, and we didn't do a live show yesterday. Every now and then you take a day off. What the hell, it's summer. Which program do you think will be more improved next year for Texas Tech? Either Tech football or men's basketball. Looking at where the programs are right now, looking at the rosters, looking at everything else. We've had spring practice, obviously. Football's a little farther ahead than basketball. We still got to wait on the roster a little bit for basketball and some schedule stuff. But as you sit here today, which program do you think will be more improved over their past version? Either Joey McGuire's bunch or Grant McCaslin's bunch. Which one and why? Interesting question to me. Interesting kind of summertime debate to kick around. It's really easy to say football is who's healthy. Oh, yes, you are, Law Dog. Glad you're here. With football, it's okay. Who's healthy? Number 1 is Baron Morton healthy. Number 2 is the offensive line better. After that, you fill in some gaps. So can you look at the schedule and go, well, that ought to be a 7-8 win team. You stay healthy, you could be a 9-win team. So with men's basketball, you make the NCAA tournament this year, you run into the hottest team in America at the time at NC State. And you're not good enough to beat them because you're beat up, Washington's hurt, and you're really skated about 3 men down at that time. So we've seen the roster rebuild with McCaslin. Which one do you think is going to be better? Which one and why? Well, fun stuff tonight. Road to Omaha, we'll look at some of the scores from today. My goodness, they should have only shown the Florida State UConn game after midnight. Children should not be allowed to watch anything that nasty. Good heavens. Then we have Texas Tech baseball. The transfer portal opened up and people got in it. Most notable, Landon Stripling and Gavin Cash. And Landon Stripling, he does have a landing point at this time, and it appears to be the Florida Gators, where I was listening to Mike Gustafson today on the radio, and Gus was saying that a lot of that may be just guaranteed playing time at third base. Don't know, whatever. Okay, fine. He was in the portal. He was going to go, and he can hit. There's no doubt about it. The dude can hit, we think. I mean, looked like he could hit. So he ends up there not seeing anything. I think Cash, probably if I were him, I would not announce anything until after the draft, because I would be totally using this as leverage against Major League Baseball to say, I've got NIL money. You want me to sign as a 10th round, 15th round pick, whatever, you got to give me $1.25 or more. Otherwise, I'll go play college baseball and make that kind of money. It's beautiful for college baseball players right now. Not only do they have the leverage of going back to school, that used to be the only thing the juniors had. You were draft eligible as a junior. You'd say, hey, draft me high or I'll go back to school. And they're like, okay, fine, go back to school. We'll get you for nothing next year. We'll give you a bus fare. Now you can say, I'll go back to school. I'll make $125,000. The dynamic has changed just a little bit. Tech got a pitcher out of South Florida in the portal today. I have not had a chance to research this young man. Can't comment anything other than I heard briefly that they had a guy coming in on that. Okay, knock yourself out. See what happens. But if you want to do a little Tech baseball talk tonight, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And then anything else on the week, we ask you on Fridays, what's the most Texan thing you did during the week? For those of you, again, on Twitter, on Facebook, YouTube Live, wherever you may be watching us, thanks to United Supermarket, you get in, you get a chance to visit with us, like it's some sort of prize. Not really. But thanks to Market Street, you do get a chance to comment. And we've been asking this question for a few years now, and we did it on the radio show, part 2, not the Williams and Hyatt show, which debuted this week 30 years ago in 1994. Good Lord, me and Don are old. But no, with me and Rob, they're Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on KKM. We did this, most Texan thing you did during the week. What was it? What would you consider something really Texan that you've done? At any point this week, 2 out of my 3 trucks, one was up on blocks getting brake work done. One just ain't starting, and then one was running. That's right. 2 out of 3, right? 2 out of 3 trucks. It's got to be Texan, I think. CJ, football, because it's time for an awakening. Basketball still early. Okay, CJ, I appreciate you using the word awakening, but what does that mean? What does an awakening mean when you say that's why football is going to be more improved? I mean, we want it to be improved. You want it to be better, but hope is not a strategy. Not a strategy at all. So why would, and this is where you get into the idea of most improved. Is it, what is it for football? If you get to 8 or 9 wins, is that bigger than just getting to the second round of the NCAA tournament? In basketball, they have 2 different litmus tests, in my opinion, on being more improved. So what would it take for you to say Tech football was incrementally better next year than whatever Texas Tech basketball does, or vice versa? Did you hear about the Aggie? Yeah, he was taking a poetry class. He thought it was about dirty poems. It was vice versa. Most Texan thing, Oklahoma Sooners softball beat Texas and loved it. Yeah. And they both get to go off to the SEC now. And now Oklahoma softball has to play, I don't know, like legit. I hate saying this because I'm not running down Tech, but Oklahoma softball will still be great. But they're not going to reel off the season had the last 5, 6, 7 years. And really, even that was kind of in a bubble. They, their last couple of years just stupid. Recruiting, everything perfect. Everything worked. Unbelievable. They maximized it. I have nothing against Oklahoma softball. I'm just saying the dynamic changes when they get to the SEC on who they play and who they have to play. And they'll have to actually play somebody on the road. Yeah. So yes, rooting for Oklahoma against Texas in softball, I totally get that. And now we say a pox upon both their houses, and they may go off to the SEC and have fun. Most Texan thing you've done this week. How about this? Texting the nice lady who delivers your mail to see if the roads are good enough for the mail to get here today. Does that count for something? Because if you don't have your mail delivery person on your text, whatever, you can at a given time on a given morning say, hey, you going to be able to make it or not today? Because out here, rain, snow, shine, they didn't mention nothing about mud. So to me, that would be one of the most Texan things that we do around here is find out where exactly the hell the mail is. A lot of, you just did the most Texan thing of your week. Discount the Oklahoma championship. I didn't discount an Oklahoma championship. So it was great. I said it's going to be different for them going into the SEC from here on out. I'm not discounting Oklahoma's championship. They have been unbelievable. One of the great athletic dynasties of the last 25, 35 years. Not discounting it at all. Saying it's going to be different now. The regular season is going to be different. Recruiting is going to be different. You don't get to pick on the little old Big 12 in softball anymore. And Big 12 teams tried to elevate, I think, over the years. Tech has tried. We saw Baylor, a couple of different, hadn't got there. Not that they gave up. Nope. Not saying that, Coach Snyder. But they got a long way to go. The league has a long way to go in softball. Joe Henderson is texting in, one of our Facebook. How do you say it? Like a Bjork? Bjork? You ever had an uncle or a granddad or whatever? You say Bjork. Joe, basketball will be more improved because they were a dumpster fire 2 years ago. Football movement has sideways since McGuire took over. I don't know, sideways. Yeah, maybe sideways a little bit. You made bowl games. You suffered some critical injuries last year and couldn't overcome it really to get beyond just getting a bowl and going and getting that done. But why will basketball be more improved? Because basketball had significant losses. I mean, massive roster turnover. There's probably more continuity. That's a big word. For those of you in Muleshoe, continuity means that things kind of stayed the same. So there's been more roster disruption from year one to year two with McCaslin. Why do you think it'll be more improved? Your call. Let's see. Oh, man, we didn't do the show yesterday. I saw the note, and I'd heard this before, that the baseball game in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off took place on June 5th. 5, for those of you in Littlefield, 1985. And, of course, the movie comes out in the fall of 85. Went to that great first date movie, by the way. Wherever she is, we had a good first date. But it was apparently the Cubs and the Braves, June 5th, 85. I'm thinking, man, there's an incredibly great chance that I might have been watching that game. It was an afternoon game, WGN back in Lubbock. We all watched the Cubs in the mid-'80s in Lubbock. I don't know where you guys grew up, but for us, it was the Cubs during the day, unless you were working, you had a job or something in the summer. But if you were home, you'd watch the Cubs during the day. I go to the pool or something afterwards or go out. But, I'm thinking, and I don't know, I'd never heard that there was an actual date put on the game. And I always thought the movie was set a little earlier in spring. Not at the end of the school year, but like maybe in April or something. Spring, obviously, because the Cubs are playing. So it could have been like in, December. The Sausage King of Chicago. Yeah. June 5th. Apparently that's when that game was. There's a great chance I was watching it. And I don't know, you got to be a certain age, probably plus or minus 5, either way. My age, how you rate Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Still great, still awesome. I will still, if it's popping up on TV, I'll turn it on a little bit and everything else. I mean, you got crazy ass Charlie Sheen in there, a young Charlie Sheen. What do you want, man? Swing, man, swing. The other thing that I learned later, is how much older. What was her name? Ione Sky? No, that's not right. Mia Sarah. Mia Sarah plays Sloane. Ione Sky, I think, was in what was the one with John Cusack? Say Anything, with the jam box and everything else. Going through these movies history, which we're really adept at in case you don't know. Anyways, Mia Sarah, she's like literally like 18, 19 years old. And Matthew Broderick and Alan Ruck, who played Cameron, they're like late 20s or whatever. They'd been on Broadway. They'd done Brighton Beach Memoir, Neil Simon production, really good play. They'd been huge on Broadway doing that as young Broadway actors. And next thing you know, John Hughes has them doing this movie. And it's kind of weird because she's literally like a high school kid, and they're literally not high school kids. So there's an ick factor after that a little bit. And you go back and you watch the movie now and you go, good Lord, Ferris did not look like a high school senior. Cameron, he didn't look like a high school senior. He looked like he'd been in the Army for 2 years and came home. Things you learn here on the show. We're here to help. Fire away your comments, your questions, everything else. If you're on YouTube, if you are on Twitter, if you're on X, get help. It's a drug. If you're on Twitter, fire away. Thanks to United Supermarkets. Most Texan thing you've done this week, what is that? Which program will be more improved next year, Tech football or baseball? And we'll have more discussions, obviously, about both those programs as the summer goes along. We just wanted to jump on tonight. A little bit felt bad not being here last night. So felt like, at least we can do is jump on a little bit, see what happens. And get your comments on a Friday. I know people are busy. We shout out to the replay people right now, by the way. Here's to the replay people. And that's what we're going to start calling them. The replay people are strong. They're massive on the website, on Twitter, you name it. You guys feel free to hit us in the comments section on the website, theraiderland.com. Get us on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. That just because I know there's no perfect time to do a show, but you guys that are with us on replay, you guys rock. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every night who come back and watch the replay. It's really good. Do I have anything else that I wrote down that we need to get to? No, we did most Texan. I don't know that we talked about the nominees for College Football Hall of Fame for Texas Tech. None of them will get in. Graham Harrell won't get in. Byron Hanspard won't get in. Jim Carlin, former head coach, won't get in. And Pete Cawthon, former head coach, they won't get in. They just won't. For a lot of different reasons. But yeah, Cawthon lost to history. Carlin, same deal. He wasn't good enough during the 70s and 80s when he was attacking South Carolina to break through, even though he coached Heisman Trophy winner. And he created a great uniform at Tech that South Carolina still wears today. Graham Harrell lost in the shuffle of air raid quarterbacks, put up great numbers, and they say, hey, he put up great numbers, and he fumbled his first snap in the NFL. And Byron Hanspard, he came along at a time that all of a sudden everybody was running for 1,500, 1,700, 2,000 yards, and he gets lost in the shuffle because he doesn't have an NFL career after a knee injury with the Atlanta Falcons. There you go. Sorry, I missed. CJ, talking about the awakening for football that refers to the Big 12 teams facing an awesome Tech team. I hope you're right on that. I want to be an awesome Tech team. Give me a reason why it's going to be awesome. Is the offensive line going to be significantly better? Needs to be. It all starts with the offensive line. If you can't protect Baron Morton, nothing else is going to matter. Taj Brooks ain't going to matter. Micah Hudson ain't going to matter. If the offensive line isn't significantly better, This is a 7-win team at best. So you have to put in that right there as a stop loss, is what we'd call it on the stock market. And you'd have a stop loss on that, saying if the offensive line isn't better, you sell right there. Defensive side of the ball, like the linebacking core, still I think needs more depth up front. Secondary, ooh boy, that's going to be interesting. You got some back, some maybe you didn't want back. You know, I said it. Don't know what's going to happen. Offensive line, Baron Morton Health. There you go. Joseph says most Texan went to Whataburger this morning. Got a patty melt and fries with spicy ketchup. Haven't quit grinning yet. I'm with you on that. I mean, we got probably 2 things of spicy ketchup in the fridge right now. The patty melt. Okay, why not just get a burger? You know, I mean, that's me with the patty melt. Nothing against it. Knock yourself out if you like it. But for me, I'm just like, if I've got a choice between a patty melt and again at Whataburger, why don't I just get a number 2 Whata size with cheese, double cheese, or a triple meat, triple cheese, and go from there. The patty melt to me is, if I'm going to Whataburger, I'm going to go to what they do best. Now, maybe like a Sonic or some one-off place like that. Maybe a patty melt. Ain't nothing wrong with it. This morning, though, good to go. And I'm trying to show a lot of grace to Whataburger these days, because every time I go, the experience gets a little less. It might go up a little bit, but it's hit and miss, and it's owned by the group out of Chicago. And I know it's no longer a Texas chain, but I try to show them a lot of grace, because we have a long history there, me and Whataburger. Going back to my daddy's stout, my grandfather, going to Whataburger, bringing it back. Going to Whataburger, going through the drive-thru, getting the plastic cups that had Nolan Ryan as an Astro on there. I want Whataburger to be great. I want Whataburger to be good. But you got to meet me halfway, Whataburger. And I don't know what the other Texas burger chain might be up there. But it is open for discussion. Rodoma, let's go real quick. We mentioned it. Florida State beat Connecticut 24-4. Oh my gosh. You know, the last team to give up like 24 runs in the NCAA tournament and win the title, you know how far back you have to go? Rob Anderson, Creighton SID, all things College World Series. You have to go all the way back to 2023 in LSU. Gave up 24 in the regional, 23 in the regional. Paul Skeens came back and won it for him. Evansville in Tennessee got tight late. Tennessee wins 11-6. For those who don't know, former Texas Tech pitching coach Frank Anderson, head coach Oklahoma State, pitching coach Texas as well. Maybe Houston in there. If I've forgotten anything, Frank, I apologize. And he gave us Brett Anderson, former Oakland A's and other Major League Baseball team. Anyways, 11-6. We're top 6, and they're in Chapel Hill, West Virginia, leading North. The Fighting Randy Mazies. He announced his retirement before the season, as last year ends up winning big this year. And you've got West Virginia in front of North Carolina. Saw a picture, huge group of West Virginia fans there in North Carolina. And why not? Because none of them have jobs. So there's no reason for them to not be there. Meanwhile, top of the third in Charlottesville, Kansas State. They play in the Big 12 along with West Virginia. They lead number 18th ranked Virginia 1-0 in their early go. Texas Tech obviously did not play Kansas State this year in the regular season or the Big 12 tournament. One of the misses, but you got two today on day one of the Super Regionals. One early on. Hold on, Destiny calling. We'll take that call here in a minute. And then the other really early on. And two teams that aren't your traditional power programs, two teams that are, shouldn't be winning. Thank you, NIL. Let's see. Texas rope. Make Whataburger great again. Coming in off YouTube. I'm with you right there, man. Whatever we need to do, whoever needs to buy it. Roger Staubach, Earl Campbell. We put a consortium together. We buy it back. We get it back here in Texas, and we make it great again. It's not like it's horrible or anything. It's just noticeable things. All right. We've enjoyed it tonight. This weekend, we will be with you on Sunday with our column 5 Things We Know on a Sunday. I doubt we'll have anything tomorrow, it being this time of year and summer and everything else. Although if something comes up that we need to talk about, 100% we jump on. But look for us on Sunday, 5 Things We Know on Sunday on our column there. That'll be good. And then big week next week, looking at the calendar. There's so much stuff on the calendar. There's like a 10 and 11 and a 12 and a 13 and a 14. I mean, it's just insane. We will update Texas Tech track. Then that will be done. Pay attention to them. I have not been able to keep up this afternoon with everything. They're just really getting underway at Hayward Field. They're in Eugene, Oregon, where I did take a lap around that field one time. Lady Raiders were playing out there. I ran over there during practice, took a lap, and got chewed out by the track boss guy, superintendent security guy, and he was like, "Yeah, people do it all the time, but I got to yell at you to get off the track." All right. So I'm thinking it was a quarter. I ran a quarter. It's probably about, I don't know. I was in boots, so it was probably only like a 51.5, maybe a 51.2. I would have got up faster, but I didn't have blocks, so I had to do it from a standing start. So probably about a 51.2. I'm guessing 51.5. Not bad for boots. It was really rainy and hazy that day. But a lap around Hayward Field, I was freaking Steve Prefontaine, man. It was awesome. You guys are the best. We appreciate everybody who jumps in here. Thank you for the comments. And you guys thank United Supermarkets and Market Street. They support Texas Tech in a major way in what we do here. Obviously, Golf USA. Arctic Air for keeping the air cool. Way cool. Way cool, June. And my man up in Red River, you're going fishing in northern New Mexico. You talk to Jeff Fagan. Check out his website, Jeff Fagan. Easy to find. Got it on Facebook as well. Now, this is where I hit a button, and it makes everything stop, and it's never perfect, and it's always weird.